Welcome to Ronkonkoma, Bohemia, and Oakdale, 3 hamlets in the town of Islip, Long Island. The transect starts at Lake Ronkonkoma and extends down to the southern shore to the Great South Bay. It houses around 30,000 residents and sites like MacArthur Airport, a foreign trade zone, and Connecticut State Park. Our transect sits on layers of sand and gravel, which are porous, where rainwater can easily seep into the ground and form the aquifer that stores Long Island's drinking water. The top of the saturated zone is called the water table, and in this part of Long Island, it is very shallow, less than 10 feet below the surface in areas like Oakdale. The area around Lake Ronkonkoma was originally inhabited seasonally by Native Americans. English settlers arrived in the 1600s and divided it into the townships that exist today. By the 1800s, the Long Island Railroad reached Ronkonkoma, turning the lake into a resort for wealthy New Yorkers. Large estates like the Vanderbilt and Bourne properties were built on the Oakdale waterfront. By the mid-20th century, the area was in the middle of a massive suburban boom, and with all that growth came a whole lot more shit. Most homes relied on cesspools, basically holes in the ground that dump water straight into the soil. Nearby towns like Islip and Smithtown built sewer systems, but everything east of Connecticut State Park stayed unsewered. On top of this, low-density development brought more roads, parking lots, and impermeable surfaces, interrupting the natural filtration of rain. Car-dependent lifestyles added oil and other contaminants to paved surfaces, while large lawns require heavy fertilizer and pesticide use. In Bohemia, industrial dumping made matters worse, leaving the area with more than 10 Superfund sites. Today, groundwater contamination has become a major regional crisis in Suffolk County, fueling algae blooms and making Lake Ronkonkoma unsafe for swimming. Turns out decades of don't make for great beach days. Suffolk County has proposed extending sewers from the Southwest Sewer District, which requires pumping against the topography and major construction to connect every home. This proves especially challenging in Oakdale, where there isn't enough depth to install pipes that meet state regulations. Progress has been slow, both due to logistical challenges and strong resident opposition. The water crisis remains largely unacknowledged by local residents, as it's an invisible problem with long-term rather than immediate consequences. Residents face other, more visible issues tied to suburban sprawl. Car-dependent roadways, poor pedestrian conditions that are especially unfriendly towards elderly and children, unreliable public transit, which means that cars are needed to reach basic needs like groceries, schools, medical care, and recreation. The development patterns of mid-century suburbia are inherently isolating, and they encourage individualism, which not only makes grassroots initiatives harder to form, but also weakens everyday social life. Several residents have noted there's simply not much to do around here. Our proposal addresses the long-term impacts of post-war suburban sprawl. And yes, this means dealing with the but also the more visible issues of accessibility, affordability, and social life. Don't worry though, we'll come back to the To support the 1 in 5 aging residents in these hamlets, we have selected several nodes to transform into walkable, denser towns. We selected these towns based on existing commercial or historic main streets, and that also sit on higher, safer ground. Areas that are less vulnerable to coastal or pluvial flooding and that have deeper water tables. Each town is defined by a 10-minute walking radius. We establish pedestrian-oriented main streets that lead residents towards the town center and become the spines of growth. They are lined with mixed uses to create an engaging walking experience. They have shops, cafes, sheltered public space, and pocket parks so that daily needs stay within comfortable walking distance. Smaller pedestrian streets branch outward into residential neighborhoods while maintaining vehicle access through back roads for utilities, emergency services, and residents' private cars. To sustain retail and activities, housing can be densified in a few ways that retain the known and loved open space and proximity to nature. The first step involves transforming empty paved lots or parking areas along the major pedestrian streets into mixed-use development. Second, we propose upzoning to encourage multifamily homes and reduce setbacks to ease the possibility for ADUs. Tax credits and other incentives can also support this transition. Existing residents may also sell unused portions of their lot to a community trust. Newly available land opens opportunities for new housing typologies. This includes courtyard-style clusters that allow a few houses to share their front yard, which means bigger yard spaces and sharing maintenance costs of facilities like swimming pools. Denser typologies like sixplexes and mid-rise apartments increase housing affordability, which gives younger Long Islanders an opportunity to own a home close to family and community networks. These shared facilities and more spaces to just hang around facilitate social interaction and revives the principles of grassroots, people-centered neighborhoods that problem-solve together. One node can house 15,000 residents at full capacity. But wait, with all this new density, what happens to all the Well, each node is designed to run its own complete wastewater treatment system, eliminating the need for cesspools and septic tanks. Instead of relying on a large, transect-wide sewer network or connecting to another town, these decentralized, neighborhood-scale treatment hubs sit at the center of each new town. The hubs are built mostly underground, with sculpted terrain above that creates a public park and community space. Sewage pipes run from surrounding homes beneath the new pedestrian streets to the central hub. The system includes a biosolids facility that treats remaining sludge and converts it into fertilizer for use in surrounding landscapes. Treated water can also be reused for irrigation, cooling, water features, and toilet flushing throughout the node. And because each node is self-sufficient, the system avoids a single point of failure. The final step is dealing with all the existing already sitting in the groundwater, and making sure that the water cycle actually recovers in the long run. To clean things up, we create out points, places where polluted groundwater gets pumped out and treated in small underground facilities. These are located in the denser, historically industrial parts of the transect, which are the areas hit hardest by cesspools, chemical dumping, and decades of accumulated. But if we're pumping water out, we also need to put clean water back in. So across the transect, we identify the in points, restored to absorb rain and runoff through rewilded, permeable landscapes that naturally recharge the aquifer. Prime spots for this include major channel junctions like the unused lawn areas of MacArthur Airport, which could be restored into grassland or marshland to better filter stormwater back into the aquifer. Our nodes are designed with the understanding that large portions of the transect will become uninhabitable as climate change accelerates, especially the southern areas like Oakdale, where shallow groundwater and chronic coastal flooding already threaten hundreds of homes. The new towns are built to be friendly to aging residents, welcoming to younger newcomers, and structured so streets once again belong to the people instead of cars, with daily needs just minutes away. What emerges is a new model of suburban living, keeping the comfort that people love while offering a more future-ready way of life. And most importantly, it finally keeps the shit out of the water.